Yeah, today we lecture deals with polymorphism. Now, polymorphism is another principle of OOPs. Now, polymorphism, poly means many, morphism means forms. So, in this case, we'll see how we can design methods which have same in signature but different parameter list. So, I can just create a simple method, say show with a parameter with int. So, we can simply put down any statement. Now, within the same class, we can have more than one show depending upon the parameter list. So I have another show which has two int as parameters, whereas this show has only one parameter with one int. So we have same return type, we have same method name, but the parameter list is different. So this is what we are referring to as polymorphism. That same method, it has different forms. However, we need to take two things into consideration while we're dealing with polymorphism. One is that based on the return type, suppose I have another method, say int show with int. So this is not a different method as this. That is what the error we are getting here, the duplicate method. So based on the return type, we cannot distinguish between two methods in case the parameter list is same. In case we have a different parameter, and since we have a return type int, I'll just complete this with any return value. So as you have seen, we cannot have return type different for two methods where parameter list is same. So in case you have a parameter list which is different, then you can have a different return type. So based on return type, you cannot distinguish between two methods. This is the rule 1 for polymorphism. And second is, there can be conditions. I'll just demonstrate. There can be conditions where we have methods who are perfectly okay for satisfy the condition of polymorphism, just as we have a method here which is float and a double, and I can have another method which has a double and a float. So these two methods are perfectly okay as far as the rules of polymorphism goes, that the parameter lists are different. This is float and a double, this is double and a float. The program is compiling perfectly. However, in case we give a call, suppose I say poly p is equal to new poly and pass some parameters, say int and int. So let's see what output it is generating. Show with two ints. Now we have show we have a show with two ints, and in the call to this show we have one int and another int. So now what I'll do is I'll just remove this method with two ints, and immediately I'm getting an error here in show, because now there is no exact matching method to the parameter list which is int and int. But we have methods where we can pass these values. Suppose I don't have this method. So now I have a method show which has float and a double. However, while calling the method, I am passing an int and an int, because int can be passed to a float, int can be passed to a double. So this is perfectly okay for a call to this method. So I get an output which is float and double. So I have a method which has a parameter list of float and double, and I can pass a value which is int and int. However, if I create another method which has a double and a float, so there is a problem in the call, because it says an error which is ambiguous. This is because int and int can be passed here, int and int can be passed to this method. So even though the methods are okay for a compilation, there is no clash between these two methods. However, in the call, in case you pass parameters that the system is not able to recognize to which method it should pass, you will get an error which is ambiguous. So wherever we are defining these methods, such a problem of ambiguity can come when the values which are being passed by the user, they are of a nature that they can be passed to two methods. So this is the only problem that we have in case of polymorphism, that methods which have a signature which is different, however at runtime when you pass values to them, the values can be such that two methods can be in line for a call, and system is not able to make a judgment of what method should exactly be called for such a call. So polymorphism is exactly a way to define same method with different parameter list. And second rule we have seen is that based on a return type, we cannot distinguish between between methods with same parameter. So this phenomena we also call as method overloading, wherein we have methods with different parameter. Even some people even have slight confusion regarding. I have seen many people making mistakes in such a scenario also, wherein they regard even this method to be different from this method. Now even if we declare any local variable as a or b, this does not matter, because as long as the data type is competing in the two method signatures. So this is our lecture on polymorphism.